Chinese State Councilor Yang has reiterated China's solemn position of non-acceptance and non-participation in the South China Sea arbitration case. He elaborated on China's position in an interview on the so-called award of the arbitral tribunal.
Illegal behavior has no legitimacy. Chinese State Councilor Yang reiterated China's stance on so-called award by the Arbitral Tribunal for South China Sea arbitration.
The Arbitral Tribunal for the South China Sea arbitration has issued its so-called award. This award is illegal and invalid in every sense. The Chinese government has released relevant statements and white paper stating its solemn position of firmly opposing the arbitration and not accepting or recognizing the award. This position of the central government has the strong support and endorsement from people of various social sectors in China. They have expressed their unequivocal attitude of opposing the illegal arbitration and safeguarding sovereign rights and interests by contributing articles and articulating views through the press, TV and SMS, as well as like WeChat and Weibo.
Yang believes arbitration has been a political farce all along, staged under the cover of law and driven by a hidden agenda. Through the arbitration, certain countries outside the region have attempted to deny China's sovereignty rights and interests. They have even brought other countries into the scheme to isolate and discredit China in the international community, with a view to hold back China's peaceful development. Yang called it lifting a stone to drop it on their own feet. So far, over 70 countries and international and regional organizations have made statements showing their understanding of and support for China's position.
Sovereignty is a bottom line for China. Big as China is, we cannot afford to give away a single inch of territory that our ancestors have left to us. China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea have been formed over the course of over 2,000 years. They are fully backed by historical and legal evidence. Under no circumstances can they ever be negated by a so-called award that is full of nonsense. The award can neither change historical facts nor deny China's claims of rights and interests in the South China Sea. Still less can it waver our resolve and determination to safeguard territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests. China's position of not accepting or recognizing the change. At the same time, China will stay committed to following a path of peaceful development, to resolving the disputes in the South China Sea through negotiation and consultation, to developing friendly relations and win-win cooperation with its neighbors, and to working with others to maintain peace and stability in the South China Sea.
In 2013, the Philippines unilaterally filed an arbitration case, ignoring an agreement previously agreed on by the two countries. Yang said the initiation of arbitration is against international law.
A basic requirement of international rule of law is that actions must be taken in strict accordance with the law. The crux of disputes between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea are issues concerning territory and maritime delimitation. In disregard of China's staunch position, the Arbitral Tribunal willfully went beyond its authority, turned a blind eye to the history and reality of the South China Sea, and misinterpreted relevant stipulations of UNCLOS. It has deviated from UNCLOS from the very beginning and overstepped and expanded its authority to render this award. Naturally, such an award can only be illegal and invalid. The tribunal can in no way represent international law. Still, less equity and justice in the world.
Yang reiterated that China's sovereignty, rights and relevant claims in the South China Sea were gradually formed and developed by the practice of Chinese people throughout millennia and have been upheld by successive Chinese governments. As early as in 1948, the Chinese government marked a line in the South China Sea on its officially published map, affirming China's sovereignty over the South China Sea islands and maritime rights and interests. As a state party of UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, China is fully entitled to its rights, and its sovereignty and maritime rights and interests are protected by both international law and UNCLOS.
The South China Sea, important to the Chinese people since ancient times, is our heritage to which our forefathers devoted their wisdom and even lives. The Chinese government remains unwavering in its resolve to safeguard China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea. The Chinese people do not lose interests or envy their development. At the same time, we will never give up our legitimate interests. No country should expect us to trade our core interests away or swallow the bitter consequences of our sovereignty, security and development interests being undermined. The Chinese government and people will remain united and act resolutely to safeguard every inch of our land and every swath of our waters.
Yang said the attempt to mount an all-out smear campaign against China through fact distortion has once again exposed the nature of this arbitration. He said that it was a farce and that certain countries use the basis of international law as a cover to pursue their own hidden agendas. China's position on the arbitration fully complies with international law, and the country has been an active player in building up and enhancing the regional and international order. The arbitration will not in the slightest way shake China's resolve to pursue the path of peaceful development. China remains committed to developing friendly relations with other countries on the basis of 5 principles of peaceful coexistence and deepening win-win cooperation and connectivity with its neighbors. It adheres to negotiation and consultation as means for addressing relevant territorial and maritime delimitation issues, and resolutely safeguards peace and stability in the region.
China is ready to settle the disputes through peaceful negotiation with countries directly concerned, on the basis of respecting historical facts and in compliance with international law, UNCLOS included. China is ready to discuss with countries concerned about temporary arrangements pending final settlement of the dispute, which include joint development in relevant waters in the South China Sea for mutual benefits and win-win outcomes, so that together we can maintain peace and stability in the South China Sea. We call on the new Philippine government to bear in mind the common interests of our 2 countries and the broader picture of bilateral ties and properly handle relevant issues. As long as China and the Philippines remain committed to the principles and spirit of the DOC, to properly settling differences through dialogue and consultation, and growing friendship and mutually beneficial cooperation, our bilateral ties will enjoy a bright future.
Fang Longxuan, CCTV.